Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Am I
Hello.
audible? Hello. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So welcome to our contract and negotiation case discussion on various contract case studies. My name is Derek.
My name is Charmaine.
And my name is Jean.
Perfect. So for today, we'll be discussing case study number 4 of agile contracts in public organizations. So what happened here? Would anyone want to inform us on the case study?
Yeah, sure. So I'm sharing my screen. Is it visible to
Yeah.
everyone?
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
able to see it.
Okay, so we agreed last night that we are choosing case four, agile contracting in public organizations, for CRA digital services project. Question though, are you guys using CRA web portal or have you ever tried it?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I was
I've
able to
seen.
use it for filing my taxes before.
Me
Yeah,
too.
very useful, right? I'm also using it for tax filing and to keep updated on the news about taxes and stuff. So when
Yeah.
I read through this case, the CRA launched like a major project. They want to modernize
Hmm.
its digital services platform so that it's easier for us to do tax filing, access benefit, make it easier, faster, and also secure for uh, people living in Canada. So when I read the article, the project was large, it's complex, and it's also evolving. That's why, according here, they use agile contracting approach with major Canadian IT companies. I believe you've heard about the CGI. It was mentioned here as well as the Accenture
Yeah.
companies. They use like a third party industries to support them with their agile work for the CRA. So instead of following the traditional fixed scope contract, they did the agile contract, which will allow them to iteratively develop through short sprints, which we studied, right?
Yeah.
Last time with Ada in the slide, because it also aims to provide like a continuous feedback from users and also flexible scope. Because with agile, embracing change is important because of the changing needs. So it says here that it was a success. The project was completed in 18 months,
18 months.
successful launching. Yeah, and they were able to modernize the platform and people can access the CRA
Mhm.
via mobile with improved security, real-time updates, and the outcome was perfectly awesome. Yeah, I think that
Mhm.
was just all about it. And then we were
So,
given these 5 questions here.
so to cut the case study short, CRA needed to develop or digitalize their services, and a midway point they needed to also add a mobile feature for it, right?
Exactly,
Okay,
exactly.
perfect.
So we have like 5 questions here, and I think the goal here, each of us will answer
Okay,
each
perfect.
question. Okay, sharing your personal opinion, your thoughts, and potentially relate this to the past lessons that we had with project contract negotiation. I mean, if no more questions about the short overview of the case study we've selected, maybe we can proceed with
Yeah.
the question.
Okay, I'll
Um,
read question number 1.
okay.
Okay, so what steps and precautions should the CRA and the contractors take before signing the Agile contract? What information should be present in the agreement? Okay, anybody wants to start the discussion for this one?
Me.
Okay.
So for me, before signing this like agile contract, both the CRA and its chosen contractors like CGI Group and Accenture, so they had to make sure first that they were entering into a clear and fair or well defined agreement before starting the agile contract.
Okay. Yep.
Okay,
Well,
that's it. Mhm.
you mean clear scope charm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the fonts are too small.
I can't see.
Yeah, hang on. I mean, I'll just note here, um, well defined.
Go.
Yep. I mean, you guys can carry on.
Yeah. From my end, actually, one thing that I could actually, ba- uh, from my experience on this one, I would actually recommend before signing into an agreement with them would be a non-disclosure agreement from
Okay.
all parties to at least discuss first on what is the issue at hand, what is the services that can be provided by CGI and Accenture if I'm not murdering their names, and also what is the information that, or rather the services that CRA needs, because obviously since this is government, there should be an
Yep.
understanding that there is really a big privacy issue on this one. So
Yep.
especially on the contractor's end, there should be nothing, even during the discussion, nothing should be, no information should go outside of the conversation. And
Perfect.
beyond
Yep.
that, I also think that, or rather, the approach that I would take on this one, since there should be a precaution, especially for CGI and Accenture, would be a very comprehensive contract risk assessment because it
Right.
is not easy to handle or to deal with government, especially if it is a big project like this.
Mhm.
So the CGI or the contractors should at least assess whether it would be beneficial for them, even though that government is technically the largest potential partner or um, employer. There are various risks that could occur on this one, especially if, let's say, the mobile app or the digital service platform that they created would be buggy. It would obviously reflect badly on the service provider, even though that it is CRA um, who is who's responsible mainly for this one. So yeah, that's it from
Yep.
my end.
Okay, yeah. And that totally makes sense. And to me, even if the CRA is utilizing agile contract because they're doing this
Mhm.
iterative work cycle, it's still a must that they comply with. Remember, in week one, we've learned about the building blocks
Mhm.
of a contract. I actually have a compilation of the slides we had from week 1 to 5 here. I mean, we can always refer to the building blocks of contract. All valid contracts must include offer, acceptance,
Mhm.
consideration, mutual assent, legal purpose, and competent parties. Which I'm just gonna include here
No
in my
worries.
notes.
Yeah, actually
And
this yeah, so go Jean.
go ahead, Charm.
Yeah, actually this ties back to our lesson on contract risk management in week 5, in where we learned that due diligence and risk identification help protect organizations before problems occur. Right. Yes.
Relating
Yeah,
Mhm. Relating
absolutely.
this also
Right.
on the topic or on our lessons, I also think that this shows the importance of the order of precedence in a way that roles and responsibilities primarily should be the first one, so that at least it is defined on what are the services that what is CRA in this contract and what is the roles and responsibilities of the service providers. Beyond that, besides having the roles and responsibilities, there should also be a flow down, just in case just in case the suppliers, whenever I'm saying suppliers, I'm referring to Accenture and CGI, just in case, okay?
Yes.
So that the suppliers would at least look in CRA on who are the suppliers that they've tapped into. Again, flow down, so that at least CRA is aware on who their information is being provided to courtesy of the supplier.
Yes, absolutely. Those are very provoking thoughts you've got in there. And one thing I'd like to add as well is that we've learned about the contract baseline, right?
Mhm.
I'm just gonna. I think this is really important to mention because it somehow touch base the question number one. So with contract baseline, we need to see the time, the cost, and quality metrics. Yeah, so we still have this definition,
Yeah.
the initial agreed upon set of parameters and expectations outlined with a contract. So I just want to make sure that we are also taking this into consideration. Contract piece. Well, clearly there are a lot of things to consider in just the
Exactly.
first
Yes.
question. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, even if thank you so much, Jean, for stating that. If you think that, or based on the discussion itself, there's a lot of things to consider, then on this note, CRA should have a very comprehensive tendering process. To be more specific, they need to have a very technical specifications on their request for tender,
Yep,
right?
absolutely.
During their
Yep,
procurement process, because obviously looking for a supplier for a very complicated and critical information agency would be very vital.
yeah, for sure. Because at the end of the day, we want to avoid having disputes, right? As much as
Exactly.
possible, we address problems. So it's more of like a preventive
Mhm.
measures that we're taking in. So, so pretty much the first question would link to our previous lesson in project negotiation in terms of
Mhm.
building blocks of a contract, contract risk management. I like that, Derek, and
Yeah.
the order of
Press.
precedence,
Mhm.
contract baseline, and also charm. This really valuable. Having a well-defined agreement, clear scope, as you mentioned, and other stuff, which I have all included here. Not unless, have you thought of any other topic coverage that also touches the question one? We can also include it here.
I think I've already exhausted all of my thoughts on question one.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
me too.
perfect. Feel the same way, Charm?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I mean, these are valuable answers. So, yeah, let's move on to question number two. So it says there, who can read question number two? Because I
Yeah,
don't
I
have.
can read it. So, how might the use of an agile contract influence the level of risk for both the CRA and the contractors, and what strategies could be employed to mitigate this risk effectively?
I think this goes to my answer from the beginning. There should be a comprehensive risk management assessment on this one. But
Okay.
one thing, especially if there is already a contract that is signed, um, all agencies should also employ or utilize the contract management systems. So at least it is clear for them, or it's easier for them to grasp on what are what are the deliverables per person. So this also comes into the attachments. So in case there would be any, usually as we mentioned before, right? Um, the contract itself is just a based on the
Yep.
order precedence, but all of the specifics are usually in the appendices on what type of services or what are the specifications of each, let's say, um, what what domain will be used, what are the services to be more specific that needs to be added in the features, which buttons and stuff like that. So yeah, like it helps to have a contract management system, especially for them to understand what are the risks that are in the contract.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I searched in the slide. Contract risk management is really critical, especially the strategies that it
Yeah.
mentioned here. So having an effective contract risk management, then we are controlling, it requires due diligence that needs to
Mhm.
be conducted. And then clear obligations is also outlined and continuous monitoring. And all of which are needed to be practiced by the CRA through the agile sprint reviews. Very critical. And have you got anything to add, Charm, with regards to how agile contract influence the level of risk for both the CRA and the
Yeah.
CGI?
So for me, I integrated the topic from week 5, which the scope creep. So for the CRA, the main risk for that involved here is the scope creep, which and budget expansion also, which
Okay.
agile, as we all know that agile projects welcome changes, new
Yeah.
requirements like the mobile app introduced in the midway, so they can quickly add or delay delivery. So in here, CRA faces like reputational risks since taxpayer like expect timely secure digital services. And also for I have also for the contractors like the risk come from uncertain scope, which is continuous feedback loops and the need to meet evolving user expectations. And yeah, for me to mitigate these risks, I I agree with the This one here, the contract risk management strategies, which is the we have to conduct risk assessments, review and negotiate contract terms, and so forth.
Yeah,
I think, sorry to add that, I think one of the reasons why they utilized agile contracts is because they welcomed the possibilities of scope creeps.
Mm.
That's why they were open to adjustments. I mean, if you're gonna base it on the situation itself, they said that they added a mobile application to the requirement. So initially, maybe perhaps this was just a developed web portal, and at the same time, it was completed in 18 months. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, um, I was just reading through the questions again. How might the use of an agile contract influence the level of risk for both the CRA and the contractors? I was thinking of applying a specific mitigation strategy, which is the
mhm,
use of time and materials
yeah,
contract over fixed price model, because as Char mentioned, it's evolving, the
yeah,
requirements, and the CRA would really have to cost control, right?
mm,
To avoid the risk. So that is why, for me, it's important to look at the kind of contracts, the type of contracts in TM,
mhm.
which I believe we have covered that a couple of times
I think
already, right?
I actually agree on the time and material, but since this is government, there are tendencies when they want to prefer fixed contracts, but we can't really be certain for sure. What happens perhaps, I mean, this is just from my perspective. I think I would interpret this in a way that we did a fixed contract with the NCRA. I'm gonna do a fixed contract with the vendors, and then if there are any changes, especially I added a mobile app, I'll just have an addendum on the contract and then discuss it further with the what's this with the supplier, and then obviously do another risk assessment on that one. And once things are clear, then we could we could proceed with all the changes because that's usually what happens to to that. And then at the same time, since this is a service and the service is really needed, I think there's also an acceleration claim because obviously, um, you, as it was mentioned during the case study, they were they wanted it in a timely case, non-verbatim, but as the way I understand it is that they were wanting the service to be ready as early as possible. So if I were the supplier, I would obviously request for an acceleration claim to make sure that things are sped up. So obviously there was a big budget for this project because a lot of things, especially in the tech space, can be very interpreted in different ways.
Yep, exactly. And just to circle back on the type of contracts, I think it better if they apply the hybrid
Yeah,
contracts.
hybrid. I agree on that one
Um,
as well.
yeah, hybrid, because um, if they want to control the cost, yeah, they use the time and materials model and then the fixed price per sprint just to balance the flexibility,
Mm.
with cost control. So I think hybrid structure will be useful for this type of agile contracting. Any other thoughts?
No, I'm good at all.
Anything else perhaps to mitigate the strategies or mitigate the risk effectively, or do you think we've already exhausted that one? Because I think one of the ways to mitigate it would be the application of the force majeure.
Okay.
Because I think since let's say I would really put a force majeure there because we can't really know when a cyber attack will happen as this is
Oh
government,
yeah.
right?
Yep,
There are
exactly.
various entities or malevolent entities in the digital space that would want to disrupt anything. So I really think that one way, or I'm not really think, but I'm really sure that the good way to put it is that, especially for the vendor, they have to put a force majeure that if anything, an act of God, especially on the text space, let's say, let's say the the information from CRA is compromised, or
Yeah.
perhaps I don't know, like um maybe the items or the supplies or the the machines used in the I'm sorry, I'm not really good in the in the tools and equipments used by vendors in the tech space. What if their items were compromised? So there would
Yeah.
be, you know, it's an act of God. You don't want to be hacked, or you don't want to be, yeah, you don't want to be hacked by anyone, right? But it
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. I agree. There has to be like in the contract, it should explicitly include cyber attacks in the force majeure clauses. To me, it's critical. So that wording, because especially right now, AI is evolving, which means the cyber attackers are also evolving with the technology they use. They get more
Exactly.
smarter on uh, how to infiltrate this kind of, especially government digital apps, right?
Yeah.
You want to be able to access data and create chaos to that. So this is a good point you've raised,
Yeah.
Derek. I like
I
that. And
actually also want to add potential dispute resolution strategies so that
okay,
it's easier for the government. Obviously, for vendors, they don't want to be in friction with the government, right?
Oh, where's Jean?
So as much as
Where's
possible.
Jean?
Oh, maybe she just accidentally clicked the leave button, but let's just wait for her. But anyway, let's continue discussing it because at least this is recorded. Hello, Jean, is everything okay with you?
sorry about that. I click on the end button.
It's
It
fine.
happens.
At least the meeting is still on. Anyway,
Okay.
again, I was saying, what was my train of thought? Mitigation, dispute resolution strategies, because again, sub contracts are subject to interpretation, and in case that there would be any problems of dealing with government or dealing with with the vendor, there should be some alternative resolutions for them, especially on the
Yeah.
contract. So it's easier for them to finalize or consolidate on the next steps in case that there would be some contradictions, which I will also go back. That's the importance of order of proceedings. So at least everybody knows what needs to be done and what are the specifics of the actions that needs to be taken.
Perfect. Yeah. I like how we're able to link, the
Everything all
answers to the
together.
questions, yeah, to the previous negotiation topics that we've covered with Ada. So, yep, this is very um, useful for us, especially in the future when we work in a real project management setup. So we can always come back to this and apply the lessons that we've learned. So, is
Exactly.
everybody willing to jump to the third question?
Of course, yeah.
Of
I'll read
course.
it for you.
Okay.
Okay. What ethical considerations should contractors take into account when presented with changes that may significantly impact project scope, timeline, and costs?
Okay, well, to me, it goes without saying, like, even if I don't go back to the slides of Ada, when project changes, such as the mobile app addition occur, then contractor must maintain ethical standards such as transparency, right?
Mhm.
We want to be transparent about the new costs or delays it will produce because of the change that we added in the original plan. And also, we want to respect confidentiality as well for the data. And it's already in the building blocks, the mutual assent. So we want to ensure mutual assent before implementing the scope changes. So that's my take on this question.
In addition with that, so we have to comply with the regulations also and the fairness and accountability, which the respect of collaboration and to avoid taking advantage of the contract flexibility. Flexibility.
In my personal take on this one, I would, Jean, if possible, maybe you could share your screen again.
Oh, just a sec. Was it shared anymore? Screen.
It's no longer shared because once the moment that you leave, obviously, your shared screen was also taken out as well. So yeah,
Let me know if it's visible to everyone.
no worries. Now it's visible now.
Is it the
I think,
correct screen? Okay.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
correction, no worries. Thank you so much. I think one of the ethical considerations on this one would be maintaining quality. So the way you maintain quality, especially in areas where there are various changes, would be when I would, if, especially if I were the contractor, I would request for claims, especially for acceleration, disruption,
Yeah.
or any of the changes, because it goes to show that if you want to add something, I also have to pay for it, right?
Yeah, for
So there
sure.
would be various amendments because even though that there's a concept of good faith, obviously good faith is not for free. If I were
Yep.
the contractor, um, obviously in an informal setting, if you say that you wanted this, I'm gonna do this, or if you wanted, our original plan was ABC, but you wanted to do DEF as well, then in good
Hmm.
faith, I would do it. But obviously, just to avoid risk, you have to document everything here and put everything into writing. And obviously, all of the scope changes should be, especially in the contracts, should be added to an amendment or attachments.
Yep,
So, mhm,
I have
exactly.
additional for that one. So
Go ahead. Sure.
we learned last week in week 5 that ethical behaviors ensures accountability and reduces legal disputes. So meaning ethical contracting also connects to the like the alternative what do you call that, the ADR, alternative dispute resolution method,
mhm,
which the mediation and arbitration, so where honesty
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
cooperation help resolve issues faster
mhm.
than litigation.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, that's absolutely right,
I
Charm.
mean, on changes like this, to
Mhm.
make things clear and honest for everyone, I think another type of contract that they should apply would be sequential. So
Okay.
what 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 initial feature that they wanted, what next feature that they wanted, what next feature that the CRA wants, so that it's easier for everyone to be accountable and for everybody to understand the quality of the web platform that we want to create.
Yes, that's perfect. And I just wanna, so in my screen, I just went back to week 1 actually because this it struck us for a bit, going back to the introduction, right? To negotiation, which really emphasize here, there's a line here about ethical decision making and relationship between negotiation and contract management. So as Derek, you mentioned, contractors must act in good faith
Mm,
to sustain collaboration rather than having the win negotiations, right? So
mhm,
I like how Charm you mentioned the fairness, fair
Mhm.
dealing, right? Maintaining balances between the seller and the buyer, and also I think integrity is also critical here. Like when there are changes for additional costs, it's important that the vendor itself should avoid inflating their prices, right?
yeah.
Just because they want to accommodate the changes that the buyer wanted. So it's stuff like that. And also, I know that this is an agile, so they don't have like a formal change order process compared to waterfall, right? There is a change management process that's taking place because it's gonna affect all the plans in place. But even if it's agile, it's important that there's an accountability that they respect scope changes still.
Exactly.
Yeah, they still follow the change order and document consent for both parties. So I really like how this question number 3 can be linked to
Yeah.
ethical and legal considerations of the previous topic we had for project negotiation.
I think I can add up more to that one. Besides doing risk assessments, there should also be if we're going to go to the recent slide, our recent presentation, go to slide 36, the actions, notices, liabilities, and fall downs. Because at least this one provides us with clarity on who owns which and who is liable for their failures on specific items. Because it's stated here, critical project management should ensure clarity, accountability, and risk mitigation. Because if you know who owns this one, and obviously you have to commit on all the documents as this is noted,
Yep.
you get to know who is liable for which actions.
Yep. Absolutely.
Exactly that
I
way.
forgot to share this merge version, by the way, to you guys. This is like I don't know how you look at the PowerPoint slides from your end, but this one is it's a merge version already of all the
Oh,
presentation
that's
from week
nice.
Mm-hmm.
1 to 5.
You made that?
Uh, so that means the order might be different from what you've got there. But I'll
No
share
worries.
this shortly. Yeah, maybe after this call. That's way I
Perfect.
just did it this way so it's easier to find keywords while we are presenting this
Well, I think in
into
the
the team
essence of time, we
collaboration.
still have 15 minutes. Let's try
Oh,
to
good.
jump into
Oh,
item 4.
too fast.
Okay. All right. I have the
Mhm.
question here in front
Go
of
ahead.
me. Let me just read through it. Okay, question 4. So, if you were the project owner in this case, what alternative contract types or approaches could you consider to address unexpected changes and modification during development while maintaining cost control and project quality? Whoever's ready, you can just step up and.
Actually, I might have an answer to that one. My approach for this one would be, I don't know if anyone would disagree, but I would have a fixed contract. But what I would do, fixed contract on one part of the project, and
Okay.
afterwards, once that is finished, we want to reassess. I mean, this will be taking so long, but um, fixed contract for one feature. After the feature has already been completed, I'll do another fixed contract. So at least I get to have some building blocks or being iterative about it. I will actually utilize the IDP, which is a integrated design process, because I want to make sure that my supplier or my vendor already has an idea on what I want to happen. So we're already aligned so quickly. But again, I'm just, saving time and saving money on short fixed prices. And then what else will I be considering on this one? And then that's it for now for me, but I'll just add up more in a while, okay? Oh,
Okay. Yeah, no
yeah.
problem.
Yeah, I can add some. So for me, if I were the project owner in this case, I would consider the GMP or the guaranteed maximum price,
Okay.
because especially in government projects, so where budget transparency is critical. So anything beyond that becomes the contractor's responsibility already, which encourages cost discipline. So that's for me.
Yes, I like GMP because you cap the total spend, right?
Mm,
While allowing design changes. So I just went back to the slide that says choosing the right price, structure. So having been learned this, I think I would combine fixed price for initial discovery, like
Yeah.
first phase, and then I will incorporate time and
time
materials for
management. Yeah.
iterative
Yeah,
phases.
that's true.
Yeah, that way we can maintain flexibility and also budget control. And all throughout this contract, we want to make sure that we encourage collaboration and efficiency. So I believe we also tackled about target cost contract,
Mhm.
which we can set target cost, right? Avoiding overrun. So I think to me that is also useful if I were the project owner and would think of an alternative contract just to match the project uncertainty of the CRA mobile app and also the risk. So,
Actually, another thing that my other approach with this one is that the contractor needs to have an accelerated claim, because for me, if it is a digital service, 18 months is too long. In my perspective, it's supposed to be at least less than 1 year, so maximum of 11 months. Because from the from the discussion that we went last time, they say that if you want to develop a software, and some companies prefer a 3-year development process, once your software is already developed, the hardware has already advanced. So the best thing to do, as much as possible, accelerate everything in less than 1 year, because that is in that time frame, the technology can accommodate the software. and
Yeah.
you have to update it every now and then because software updates are faster than you can expect.
Yeah, I
For you,
agree. I mean, customers would see value right away, right? If features and functionalities are accelerated and has been deployed in production, they can already start using it.
yeah.
And
Jean, if you
yeah,
want to go to the slide, try to search expedite for the word.
that's the keyword. Yeah.
Yes, the keyword. Perfect.
Okay, there you go.
Excellent.
A claim made by a contractor in construction project to recover additional costs incurred when they are required to expedite or accelerate their work. Yeah, I really like accelerating the work because, like I said, as a customer, I want to be able to take advantage already of the good features
Yeah.
um, of the mobile of the software system itself rather than wait. Because if we wait for too long, then other companies might have already developed a better version of the
Yeah, and
software, right?
yeah, and the thing is, this is a government service, and government service is utilized every year. I mean, regardless if you say that filing for taxes is only done maybe in 2 months, everybody does that in 2 months. So, and it's done yearly, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
perfect.
so do you want to jump to the fifth question, or do you want to add
For
anything
the
else?
last one.
Charm, do you wanna add on what we've
Uh,
already got here?
I do have last one approach. I would consider here the target cost contract,
Okay.
which also sets like target budget that allows both parties to share any savings or overruns. So this model it motivates contractors to be more efficient and aligns with their success within the project's financial health.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I like how we can link everything to the lesson concepts on choosing the right price structure, right?
Yeah.
Hybrid contracts and for direct acceleration claims. So this is pretty much thought provoking. And we are not just saying stuff out of nowhere, but everything is actually
Exactly.
related to what we've learned over the past few weeks with the project contract negotiation. So, okay. All
The
right.
last question is, how would you rate this project in terms of performance? How did the agile contract model motivate the results?
Okay, project performance ratings. Okay, just put that in. All right, I think from the overview of this case, we've seen here that this was a success, right?
Mhm.
We just go back
Mhm.
here.
Because they
Successful
completed, yeah,
launching, yeah, of the
for 18
modernized
months.
platform. Okay, that's perfect. So if you were to ask me, then the project performance, it was highly successful. It was completed on time, I would assume, um, because of that of what's outlined in the overview. It's within the sprint budget. It aligned well with the user's needs. It meets the expectations of the CRA government. So because of the continuous feedback or the feedback loop, stakeholders were satisfied about the outcome of this project. Everyone took accountability based on the sprint-based deliverables and also innovation and adaptability because of they were able to manage all the feedback as well as the improvement suggestions or the user case for this project. So,
Personally, if I were to provide them with a rating, I would give it maybe perhaps a 6 or 7, or perhaps 6.5. The reason why I'm giving this a 6.5 is because regardless if it is highly successful, my main question would be, is the is the technology that they employed still relevant? Because again, as I mentioned earlier, as much as possible, if you're going to create a digital service, make sure that it is within less than 1 year. They it came to a point where it's almost 2 years or a year and a half. So uh, the relevance of technology is one question there. And the second one would be it mentioned there a mobile app, right? But I think there were some issues on the amendments or attachments on the specifications because if you're going to look at the iOS Apple Store, there is no CRA application. So, but if you're gonna open the CRA in your Safari or any browser software, then perhaps that is what they meant by mobile application, right? So
I
yeah,
agree. Yeah. It is accessible through the Safari website, but not
yeah.
like a specific tangible CRA mobile app in the App Store or Play Store.
Yeah.
Not
So
like that. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so for me, if I would rate this project performance, I would rate this as excellent because, as we've mentioned, CRA successfully completed the modernization in within 18 months. So by launching a secure, user-friendly, and fully integrated platform, and as also Jean mentioned, they because they allowed continuous feedback, and I would add for that the collaboration and communication where like they built into the process. So Agile's iterative nature required constant iteration between the CRA and the contractors, reducing so that they can reduce misunderstandings and promote teamwork.
Right. Yeah. Thank you for that feedback, Charm. I was trying to see if we've got some performance concepts from the slides. So
But
I'm just using
yeah,
the keywords if, whether there
yeah.
are this kind of concepts that's been covered to measure contract success,
I think one of
specifically for this case.
Mhm. I'm just adding on the latter part on how did the agile contract model motivated the results. I think it was helpful that they were using agile in a way that they could add more features, because
Yeah.
if you were going to go forward with a more waterfall approach, it will be very difficult for the contractors, especially even the obviously for CRA in the end, because they won't be adaptive to the changes. And what if the features that they wanted to achieve was either the technology is not yet available, or it was just too complex to apply.
Yep.
So it would be
Exactly.
a
I
waste of
I
money
agree.
from their end. Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought there was a slide with regards to differentiating agile versus traditional contract as well in terms of scope. Oh,
Yeah, that
here
one.
it is. So scope agile contracts allow for evolving requirements, while traditional have a fixed scope. Yeah. In terms of payment, agile contracts often use milestone based or time and materials pricing. Traditional, they use fixed price, which is known to us already, right? Risk allocation, agile contracts share risk between parties. Traditional contract often place more risk on the contractor. Collaboration, agile contracts emphasize partnership and regular communication. Traditional contracts are more transactional. Yeah, which is true. I really like this slide about differentiating these two types of project development. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yes, I would highly agree on that one.
Yeah. And I think just to add, I think there are the good thing about having this agile iterative development for this case is that there are motivating factors. So first things first, iterative payment, right? And clear acceptance criteria. So when the third party like CGI and Accenture are able to close the sprint and able to deliver the features and products, then they get the payment right away, especially if the stakeholders are satisfied that they were able to produce the features they wanted for the mobile app. And also motivating factor is also the frequent feedback
Do you
which
think
aligned
Mhm.
with deliverables.
Do you think that since this was agile, do you think they conducted a time impact analysis on this one? Because
That's a
there
good question.
obviously there might perhaps there were some future delays that might have occurred during the process of developing or during the execution.
I
Um,
think there's
do they? The thing is, I think with time impact analysis, they would normally mostly apply it in waterfall. But I would also assume if they have the right skill, let's say they have a business analyst who can also perform such analysis, they should be able to apply the time impact analysis, even if it's an agile type of contract or development.
Looking at the document or looking at the case study, it just said that it was successfully launched, right? It never said that it was delayed, right? So we can't really say if there were no extensions or no extensions or there were no
Or maybe they are
the
in
delivery was
the,
not late. Yeah.
or maybe there was a handover that occurred here. So they contracted CGI and Accenture only for, 18 months when they deliver the MVPs. Then
Mhm.
afterwards, then there was a handover. It could be a maintenance to be performed by another company or whatnot.
Because yeah, because I think
Mhm.
on that note, I think there would have been some notices to notify other oh yeah, the notices. There would be notices on the changes and delays, right? And would
Yeah.
you think that during the contract itself, they provided notices, especially to the service provider that hey, so there were some changes and it, we would be updating the contracts.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have maintained an open communication and transparency all throughout this project life cycle. So yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I think we've
Yeah.
already exhausted all of our efforts on on item or case four, and we unfortunately have reached our own maximum capacity on this one. Should we call it a day?
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
no problem. As long as we meet the target time to record this, then I'm happy. And I think we have met whatever is needed for this team collaboration
Yeah,
call. So,
that's wonderful. Anyway, I'm just gonna stop the recording now.
okay, thank you so much,
Thank you so
Thank
everyone.
much.
you.